So in this session we're going to be talking about space clearing, and we're going to do it through smudging. So why do we need to clear a space? Well, often different energies and entities can come into the space that we live or work in, and they can create some problems for us. So by clearing them away, we're actually honouring ourselves in the space that we're living or working in.
Is there any frequency, like we have to do it every day, or?
I think this is when we first move into a house or an office, before we leave, even just on a regular basis for ourselves is really good, maybe once a week or once a fortnight. But often we will feel it. We'll feel that you may be outside or away somewhere and you come home and you just don't feel very nice. Or you feel tired or drained of energy. These are the things that can show us that we need to do a clearing.
So this means that maybe we are be with other people, or we are hanging around other places. So this kind of energies was following us through that environment.
Yeah, sometimes they follow us, sometimes these energies are around and they just find somewhere to reside. Often when I'm working with a client on a one-to-one healing, we can lift their energy quite beautifully, and they leave that way, and then they go home and then they'd feel down. And maybe another family member or someone else has brought them in. There's so many different ways. But they're not all bad. It's not saying that they're bad, but they just have an energy that may drain us or may affect us or stop us from being positive. And so it's important to, as I said, to honour ourselves and the place that we're in by doing a clearing. Yeah.
So actually, it's just like you say, their intention might not be really want to interfere you.
No, they don't even know half the time, these energies, that they're causing problems. They're in between often the two worlds, and they have no idea. Some of them are particularly troublesome. I had one in my home many years ago, and this is from a person actually who had passed away, and their spirit was still hanging around. And at the time I wasn't aware it was interfering or playing with my young daughter. It didn't hurt her, but it wasn't good for her. When we realised, we then got to the clearing. So that was a very powerful case. But often these little energies, it's even hard to see them. They're not very powerful, they're not very big, but eventually there's enough of them, it's time. So one of the ways we do that is through smudging.
So is there any specific way to do smudging? Because sometimes people are saying that you walk around the space, you have to reach every corner of your house, something like that.
Yeah, there's lots of different ways. The American Indians use white sage as their way of doing it. Some of the monks use incense, or when I was in Bhutan, they broke a branch off a tree and lit that, and the greenery would smoke and fill the space. So to me, it's a very symbolic way of doing a clearing, that the smoke literally removes them.
Yeah, what is the benefit for us to smudging? They all disappear with this smoke?
Yeah, it's really a big benefit to clear the energies in your home or work or wherever. And the reason that is that it creates a much more lighter energy in your home. It creates it can help people sleep better. It can help people have a better health as well. Because if you can imagine, if you're feeling tired and you go into that and these energies are taking energy from you, then it's not going to be beneficial for you. So by clearing it, we can also create a more peaceful place. I've seen places that have been cleared where the children stop fighting because they've got their full energy. It really creates more of a calm environment, so I think that's a big plus. And it also opens up for more love in the space. Although love is very powerful, if there's a lot of entities there, it can sort of squash that. And then when we've smudged the house or the building, we can do ourselves, because we may have energies attached to us, and so it's very easy just to smudge ourselves as well. And it just gives us a physical vision of things being cleared away.
So, because here it's talking about the space clearings, what is the difference between space clearing and land clearing?
Space clearing is dealing with quite low vibrational beings, not that powerful, that just probably causing just a little bit of trouble. When I'm doing a land clearing, often I'm dealing with energies deep in the ground that may have been there for thousands of years, that are maybe just awakening now or creating problems now. And so it's a much deeper, much bigger process to do a land clearing. And then when we clear the land, at least that energy is not coming up through into the house now. So a lot of people ask me how to do a smudging of a place so that we can clear the space. There's different ways, but what I do is I have a special bowl that I use, and sometimes a feather, and then into that bowl we put the white sage and then light that. I think with all of these ways of doing this, all these rituals, is to take your time and just be fully present. Because it's really interesting when you come to do it, you can sometimes be blocked from doing it, or you know, it doesn't flow, which is what you're trying to remove. The beings are causing that problem. So you've got this bowl, you've now got it starting to light up, and you blow on it to create a lot of smoke coming off the white sage. Some people use a feather and they just use that. Then just to stand and be fully present and just allow all the energies in you to be calm. And the most important thing is we're not judging what we're removing. If we're in judgment, we're in our minds, and we want to be beyond our minds. We want to be in our heart space. So let go of any judgment, sit in your heart energy, and then walk around each room in your house. Some people like to do it anti-clockwise, but make sure the smoke symbolically goes into all the corners and everywhere. Some people do behind the furniture, but you're holding the intention of clearing. But the smoke is the physical side of that. And then you go to the next room and the next room. Now, it's also really quite good to chant, and it can be a statement or a sound or whatever, which just adds to the process. So people often say that they release to the light any beings and entities that are not of the highest vibration, and they just keep repeating that as they go around. Some I know have used the Lord's Prayer. There's different ways. And then when you've gone through every part of the house, the hallways and everything, keeping it really positive, no judgment, and you come back, I always just do a symbolic, we just shut down the smoke and put it out. Place it somewhere that is safe, and then just stand in silence for a period of time, even with my eyes closed, just to almost like check the house to make sure that there's nothing left, that we have cleared all of it. And then you can complete there, or even before you put the smoke out, is to smudge yourself or get someone else to smudge. And they can do that with the feather or blowing on the smoke, on the sage, and that wraps around you. And then you know you're not carrying something with you as well.
That is beautiful.
And if you haven't got any white sage, then you can use incense. I bundle 3 or 4 together, light them all, do the ritual, walk around the room, and I just blow, and that takes the smoke up into all the corners. Some of these beings, when I see them, like to hide in the corners or sit up high. I don't know why, but they do. And so we always make sure that they are smudged as well.
But someone was using the bell. Ding. Does it work?
I myself haven't used the bell. I use the bell for other purposes.
Okay.
But once again, if you set the intention that the sound is going to remove them, then that works equally as well.
Yeah, because I even heard someone was saying you go around clapping your hands.
Yeah.
So I think the most important part is really to set the intention.
Totally. The intention is, and the positive thoughts and so on, because I've got people who have gone and said, we need to get rid of all this bad energy, and it's all negative. There is no bad energy. This energy is just there to be removed. Often what we are releasing actually is going to benefit from being released. Because some of these energies don't even know they're locked in between. And when we release them, they go into the light and they're transmuted into light. So we're actually giving them a gift. So don't feel bad about getting rid of them, like you're putting them out in the rain or something. It's, we're actually helping them transmute into another world, another life.
Good.
So I hope you found the information in this session to be helpful. I always say to people, try what we've shown you and just allow your own way of doing things to come together. Because it's really important that we acknowledge that we're all different and unique, and so there may be things that you need to change for yourself, but the essence of the practice is always the same. So enjoy.